All
Yeah,
right, we are live. Not on cue. I gotta have a cough.
right. That
Uh,
make me cough. Don't do that.
man, it's something about Wednesdays at 5:30 Eastern time that my body decides that it needs to have a little coughing fit.
It just knows you're gonna go live.
It's 20 some odd years of smoking cigarettes.
See my dad in there.
Probably not.
Hi, Dad.
Probably not the best thing to do. Howdy, Mr. Brown. Green Frog was in there. He was in there early today.
Yeah, with the fast fashion Shine company. Yeah, I had heard about that.
Consumers are leaving concerning messages on clothing tags. Wow. I have not heard about that.
I had heard about that.
Fast fashion company. Damn it. Um,
The shit that needs to be said show Wednesday afternoon. The shit that didn't need to be said show. Who knows?
yeah. Hey, welcome everybody to the Wednesday shit that needs to be said show. I don't even remember what episode this is because I kind of stopped counting.
JM.
JM, what's cracking? Um,
Before you begin though, I want to tell you that I've been reading this horror story in Braille, and I just get this feeling like something bad's about to happen.
oh, and there I thought, oh, hey, what's good? Yeah. Uh, so my daughter's dog ate a bunch of Scrabble tiles, and she took them to the vet. There's no words yet.
Yep.
Your weekly dose of dad jokes.
There we go.
I mean, there's just something good and wholesome about dad jokes.
Right?
Everybody loves a good dad joke. The two guys that have the used, well, it's not two guys. I think it's several guys. They're middle aged guys, and they're always on a dock, like at a lake. And one of the guys is always wearing like crazy sunglasses. One of the times he's wearing like a full face shield that is not. It's just one shield, but it's like a tinted with the reflective lens on it. And uh,
You're not right, JB.
oh, I got sucked into watching some videos that by the time I finished watching 5 or 6 of these videos, I figured out that this is the new thing on YouTube. I think mostly with a lot of the gaming channels
Okay.
is like the top 5 or the top 10 or the top 15, the top whatever things you didn't know about.
That's a YouTube algorithm thing. So they're tapping into that because
Yep.
people will search that. You can do
And
the same thing with your RC video if you want to and boost a couple views.
yeah, well, I know RC Review does that all the time. I mean, like 4 or 5 times a year, he has the top 5 RCs of 2023, and it's like, wait, you just did this a couple months ago, and it's like only one new car's come out, but he'll have a completely different list.
Well, like I
Uh,
said, that all has to do with getting the views, getting into the algorithm. You
and
know,
I think that adds to the problem of YouTube. I think that's adding to the YouTube's problems is there's several magic formulas for getting lots of views for your video, and now everybody uses the same formulas. So there's a million top 5 things you didn't know about Starfield videos out there.
hey Thompson,
Thompson, what's happening? I scrolled through like 18 pages of top 5 things you didn't know about Starfield.
Right.
And
But
it's
like I said, I think I haven't searched in a while, but I mean, even I was doing that as a teaser to my like that things I won't tell you about RC
yep.
or something, and it just and that all that is just me taglining the teaser for the algorithm, really, so that
Yep.
it gets searched.
Yeah, and it's but I mean it's part of the problem is now that everybody's doing it. Now it's making it more difficult to be seen in a sea of top 10 things you didn't know about Starfield. And
like I said, you can do it with your RC video, but it probably won't work out quite this. You get like a small boost, like 10, 15 views, depending on your channel size and what you got for viewers. But I mean, you replicating that and trying to mimic that in your channel to boost your views will work mildly.
Yeah, but it's not. It's and part of the reason why it will only work mildly is because YouTube's been oversaturated
with it. Yeah. Well, and RC videos aren't a niche for that necessarily. You'll notice that, like you said, most of that's like video game videos or stuff. But then it started moving to the other videos, like top 5 things you didn't, Well, YouTube, it's really weird. YouTube's weird, and I mean, I feel like this is just a die-in platform anyway. So
yeah. Well, the funny part was, so I did click on several of the videos, the ones that the thumbnail piqued my interest, and the best part that I found about all these videos is the the staggering number of hours that these I'm assuming these are the normal streamers, and then they're clipping out portions of their stream and making a video out of it. There's a guy that made a video, the top 15 things you have to do, and it's basically just he listed off a bunch of missions that give you XP and credits. But when he's scrolling through, he's showing his character 1,500 hours he has logged in Starfield.
Nice.
That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. The game's only been out for a month. A month, and they got 15. I mean, they've been doing nothing else but playing Starfield.
Well, I mean, I easily put in 200 to 300 hours. Top 10 things you didn't know about virgins. Yeah, I actually might get somewhere.
Yeah. That's 30 million views right there.
I think there are 60 or 70 new cars just this year alone. Really? Just in this year, there are 60 or 70 new RCs?
Well, freaking FMS. FMS has probably come out with 10 new cars this year. They got a 10th scale right now.
When you say it, it seems like a lot because they trickle out, but you might be right.
I believe 60 or 70 new cars easily. I mean, when you count in all of the, Cross RC and
oh yeah, I got some shit to talk later too.
Red Cat and all those guys, yeah, they're probably Red Cat's got, I think, three new releases this year.
Oh wow.
And I've heard grumblings on several videos that did HPI just release something? Like,
did they?
Crawler wise? I saw somebody was at that hobby show that Harley went to, and somebody was talking about the HPI Venture, and he had one, but it didn't look like the original HPI Venture. It looked like something new, and the thumbnail was like, HPI is finally back. I'm like, oh, well. That would be interesting for HPI to be back.
Hmm.
I was never, I mean, I was never that necessarily impressed with the.
I didn't get anything new right off the bat.
HPI
That
feature,
doesn't
but
mean that there isn't.
yeah, and this new FMS, Harley was talking about it, which for some reason it felt like this week's Scale News update was the FMS update, because like the first four things he talked about was all FMS, but he mentioned the new 10th scale FMS Bronco was basically they just copied the TRX4. And he like rattled off all the things, and he was
Here
like
comes the
pointing out,
Traxxas lawsuits.
yeah, he's like pointed out all the things. He's like, it's
Wait a
it's
minute. I'm so confused. So now FMS is going to make 10 scale as well?
I
Is
guess
this right?
I guess.
Man, I'd love to hear people's thoughts on this, but I'm still like, so why? What the? So
Horizon has become the
just
new General Motors.
we're just double dipping.
Yeah, they're the new General Motors. They're the General Motors of the RC world. That they're just going to buy up everything that they can buy, and at some point, pretty much no matter what you buy, it'll be owned by Horizon. You know, it'll be under the Horizon umbrella, and it like yeah.
Every time I gotta say, every time we say Horizon Umbrella, I'm gonna tell you this. I think of Umbrella from Resident Evil. Like every time.
Similar feeling. It kind of feels like they're doing the same thing as Umbrella from Resident Evil. Their underground laboratories creating freaking monsters. I mean, I see it's pretty clear what Horizon's doing. They're trying to become a monopoly.
Well, yeah, because if you own everything, then like you said, no matter what somebody goes in and buys,
yeah, and
buy from you.
Yeah, and that, I mean, it's throughout the history of capitalism, monopolies have always been a bad idea. It's always been a bad idea because the consumer is the one who ends up getting screwed every single time. But it sure feels like Horizon screws everybody every chance they can possibly get. And the fact that they just don't care. They just don't. Yeah, we don't need live customer service people. Talk to the freaking chat, you peasants. I don't want to talk to you. Just give us your money and shut up. It's kind of it's kind of the overall feeling of corporations nowadays. They really don't. They really don't. Most of them don't even like us, let alone want to do anything nice for us.
Oh, a few more people jumped in. Hello to the lurkers in the back. Welcome to the Shit That Needs to Be Said show.
Oh man.
We're just getting warmed up with a little bit of RC bullshit right at the
Yeah. Well, I mean, because in the last couple of weeks there've just been these shit releases. Now, I can't say for certain that the RC four-wheel drive U4 thing is a shit release. I just suspect that it is. Because RC4, that's what RC four-wheel drive does. They sell stuff that looks good, but it doesn't work worth a shit. And you got to spend $1,000 pouring in the aftermarket stuff to make it into a really good performing truck. The go-to, comp scale class 1, class 0 truck is the same truck that RC four-wheel drive has been putting out like since 2014.
Right.
And the same 3 aftermarket companies have been selling all the same aftermarket parts for that truck since 2014.
I still want to know the top 10 things I didn't know about virgins.
Damn it. I can't shake it. Oh.
I'm surprised that they didn't mess with the pre-order on the new Mojave. I didn't get my coupon for half off the 4S Smart Battery.
I got my two.
Oh, you got but you did get the new 4S Mojave. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think the Mojave is.
I think that new 4S, I think that's right where it's at. I think that's right where it needs to be.
I think that is the because I think the new Losi Baja Ray, I think they made that one 4S as well. Because the UDR is like 6S, and that thing's ballistic.
I mean, and not that I'm trying to give. I'm not. I don't even care. I mean, I use smart batteries myself, but why are you using a smart battery? Is it just because it goes with the whole system that's in the Mojave, or? I guess my question is like, so, I mean, if it was me, smart battery at the cost of a smart, I know I'd want to buy a Florian battery. That's just me.
So I got two smart batteries for the bike. And I'd said, because I kind of figured that they made the bike around those specific batteries. So I was like, I'm not going to futz around trying to make shit fit, cutting holes and shit and all of that.
Oh, yeah. No, I understand this.
And I actually like what they did with the smart batteries. I like the idea behind it that, you know.
I do too, but I don't feel like the quality of battery that you get is really all that great.
It's not. In my opinion,
part of the pre-order. Okay.
Right. I could get.
Thanks for answering.
Comparable batteries on Amazon for half the price all day long, and have zero issues with them. But even if I did have an issue with one of them, it's still, I could go out and buy another one to replace it and still only have spent the same amount I would have spent on the smart battery.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the smart batteries because you plug them into the charger, and once you got the settings in there, you just push the button and it's good.
Yeah. And that's the nice thing with mine is that's the only thing I use the smart battery for is the motorcycle. So I just set it up once and then, it's just plug it in whenever I want to charge battery and it just does its thing. But the best part is that I like about the smart battery is the auto discharge. And it wasn't something that I even thought about because I'm pretty good about storage charging my batteries after I run them. Because I might go out and run a truck and not run it all the way down.
Right.
There'll be still some charge left in it. But as soon as I get home, I'm pulling batteries out and I'm plugging them in and I'm storage charging them. But in the case of this thing, I've done it a couple of times now where I've taken it out and I've run it. And then I've come back in and started doing something else and just forgot to take the battery out of the thing.
Oh, wow.
And, several hours later, I will realize or I'll remember, oh, crap, I forgot to take the battery out. And, because I think I have it set, I think it's after there's a bunch of different time frames of when it'll start the auto discharge, and I have it set at the shortest one. But in the last time I did it, when I came out and I went to plug it into the charger to storage charge it, it had literally already started discharging itself. I was like, God, that is pretty freaking smart. And in the future, I would think that other companies are going to latch on to this smart battery technology because it's just putting a chip inside the battery pack so that it tells the battery what to do. And I would think other companies are going to start doing that at some point because it's a safety feature.
Right.
It's for the Seans of the world to throw their car in their trunk and leave them there for a week with half-charged batteries in them. I did see somebody posted on Facebook another random lipo.
Lipo fire.
Yeah, lipo fire.
Well, I mean, lipo fires are, it can happen.
Conspiracy theory: Justin takes a hit, Rich coughs.
Which is hilarious because Rich isn't. Anyways,
and the reason why I had the thumbnail with the conspiracy theories was in amongst the last couple of days at work, I have had a couple of podcasts running just throughout the day to have something going on. And one of them I started listening to because I haven't listened or watched any of his stuff in a long time was Alex Jones.
No.
Alex Jones he's actually a very, very smart guy. He's crazy, but he's very, very smart. And he makes very, very well laid out arguments for things. And I think that's how he gets people sucked in is A, he's got that energy level, but B, he makes really impassioned arguments about things. I mean, there was things that he was talking about there. I was sitting over there working. I was like, there could be something to that. And then I would catch myself going like, what are you crazy? Alex Jones is a madman.
Where's NorCal, man?
But the best
people
one.
Jumping in and out. What are people jumping in and out for? What are you waiting for? You waiting for the explosions?
They're working. They're waiting to see if we're going to say something crazy or bad.
Crazy? Oh, I'll wait. I'll say something crazy and bad later. You just hang out for 10 more minutes.
What's up, Cape Cod?
Cape Cod.
But yeah, my favorite conspiracy theory of all, probably all time.
I got a conspiracy theory.
Is the 9/11. That the 9/11 was a controlled demolition. And
you don't really think that? I don't know. It's so weird because I've seen planes fall apart. I've seen planes just fall apart. I've also seen planes like do things that I've never seen it, like, take a pole head on and it's just carved in half too.
So the funny thing I have about the whole controlled demolition thing and whatnot is, so basically for the entire time that George Bush Jr. was president, everybody made fun of how stupid he is. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you. I mean, just some of the silly things that he said, but he was freaking dumb. He was the dumbest president we ever had. And yet at the same time, y'all will sit there and say that man was in charge of carrying out the most insane plan in order to start a war, the most insane plan ever, and to carry this out without hundreds of people would have to be involved in this. Controlled demolition is very difficult, and controlled demolition of a 110-story building is extremely difficult.
My question is well, what about all the people that died then? How is this controlled? This isn't controlled demolition. Yeah.
Well, because there's all these coincidences that happened on that day, but more importantly, they point out the coincidences that happened the day before.
You know what Albert Einstein said about coincidences, don't you?
No.
Coincidences are just God's way of showing you he's still around.
Yeah. Well, the funny part about
shit just happens,
Yeah. Pop quiz: which president so far has had the highest IQ? I want to say Donald Trump, but I don't think that's the case. I think it might have been George Bush Jr. He's actually far smarter than a lot of people give him credit for. This is a guy that was raised by the guy who was president himself, but before that, he was the head of the CIA.
I'm going to go with Beef Burrito Supreme.
Yeah, he was not the dumbest. I agree. Joe Biden,
Jimmy Carter.
yeah, the peanut farmer. The second biggest mistake the United States has ever made in electing a president. Jimmy Peanut Farmer Carter.
It's like,
First one being, I do believe Joe Biden is going to go down as the worst president in history. Ain't nothing gone right since that guy's been in office. Whether it's his fault or not, who really cares?
President,
Somebody's got to take the blame for it. And dude, you're the one in the White House. So
President Alzheimer's? President Dementia?
but back to 9/11, the coincidence about 9/11 wasn't 9/11. It was actually September the 10th, because that was when Donald Rumsfeld told the Washington press corps that the Pentagon had lost $2 trillion.
Whoops.
They lost it. Hey, I mean, $2 trillion is a lot of
Wait,
somebody
we lost it.
If you laid out $1 bills end to end, 2 trillion $1 bills end to end,
We could go to the moon and back.
you would be able to have a 3-foot wide strip to walk to the moon and back. Interesting fun fact. Did you know that every single planet in our solar system will fit between the Earth and the moon? True story.
Well, now are we talking flat Earth or round Earth? Because
Across the diameter of each planet.
I like what you did there. That is smooth.
Well, because I don't want to dash the hopes of flat earthers. It's not my place. I'll leave that to Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye the Science Guy. Do you know that Bill Nye is actually not a scientist? He has a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering.
I think I did know this.
Half the shit that Bill Nye says is actually bullshit.
So I've got a conspiracy for you. How about this?
Bill Nye killed JFK?
That could have been. Does have an engineering degree. Anyways, oh my God, I can't believe I pulled that out like that. It was engineered. Do you suppose it was orchestrated? No, last week I had the after show, right? And on the after show, I'm talking about Frank. And then Frank shows up.
Frank the Bank.
Frank the Bank. And I was talking to Basher Boy about how Frank does this thing where every time somebody has an RC car, Frank has to pull his off the shelf and show his as well.
Yes.
It's really funny that his Thursday night show was, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. I think there's like a conspiracy that he's just not original and he's taking his ideas from me.
Could very well be. RC Cape God, if you're rushing to the bathroom, what are you when you get there? 1,000 points to tell them. European.
I just feel something bad's coming.
Speaking of Europeans, man, has anybody seen what's going on in like France and UA's not here yet in Great Britain? It's
late for
they
him.
say less than 50% of France are actually French people now. They've had so much uncontrolled immigration into France now that less than half of the population is actually French people. And they when you open the floodgates to lawlessness, lawlessness is what you get. And like Paris, I saw a video of this couple that went to Paris for, you know, Paris vacation. You know, I'm gonna go to the Louvre, I'm gonna see art, I'm gonna sit at a curbside cafe and drink wine, and this is gonna be fantastic. I'm gonna go to the Eiffel Tower. They were there for 6 hours when they got mugged the first time.
Yep.
6 hours in Paris, they were mugged the first time. Before they had a chance to actually get to the police station because they now no longer had any money. Luckily, they left all their important stuff at their hotel, but they had no money on them, so they had to walk to try and find. On their way to the police station, they were mugged and assaulted. Well, they were attempted to be mugged. They didn't have anything. They were mugged and then assaulted because they didn't have anything to steal. By the time they got to the police station, they'd actually been mugged 3 times, and the guy had a broken nose and a broken pinky from trying to defend himself. And they said, I quote, every single one of them was speaking Arabic and yelling Allah Akbar at us. And this is put in context. This is a blonde-haired, blue-eyed American woman with her brunette husband. They're, you know, he's pretty yoked. Obviously, going to the gym doesn't make you tough, but he looks, you know, pretty yoked and whatnot. And he still got mugged 3 times. And you know what the Paris police department told them when they got there? You shouldn't walk around at night. Ever. Anywhere. It's dangerous. And they're like, no shit. No shit. So they got to spend the rest of their week-long trip in Paris with him having his nose all because it got broken, his pinky in a sling. The lady's got a big old freaking shiner because one of the dudes punched her in the face because they were pissed off because they didn't have any money. And they said it was the worst trip that they've ever had and that they're never going to Paris again. And I was like, hey, it's what I was saying a couple of weeks ago. Why would you leave the United States to go anywhere? There's so many great places to go here.
Well, and there's some shitty. I mean, if you want to go to, just go to Florida, for Christ's sake.
If you want to get punched in the face and mugged, go to New York, go to Chicago, go to San Francisco.
What about the murder capital of the world? Go to New Orleans. Go hang out.
Which is surprising that New Orleans still surpasses Chicago as the murder capital.
Yeah.
Because and technically, I know what it is it's that people in Chicago aren't necessarily dying all the time. They're just getting shot all the time. Because Chicago is the shooting capital of the world at this point. There are more shootings per capita there than anybody even remotely close.
Just don't come to Cape Cod.
Turkey last night was crazy. Turkey.
I just looked at the news. No, I didn't see anything.
Oh, Turkey, the country. I was thinking like, oh, RC Cape Cod had him like some pre-Thanksgiving turkey going on.
Well, now, see, I didn't find anything on Turkey, but I mean, maybe he did have turkey. I couldn't. The context of text sometimes.
Worse than New York City right now. I mean, the Middle East is, I don't know, after several, I don't know, years of it being not a gigantic war engulfed shithole, it's back to normal now. Hey, NorCal. It's yeah, I mean, launching rockets into Israel, and Jordan is pissed off, and Syria is pissed off, and Turkey's evidently pissed off. Everybody in the Middle East is pissed off. It's kind of like, oh man, it's like back when I was a kid.
So I made this ghillie suit out of like trash and garbage bags, used condoms and needles and stuff, so I could like lay in Seattle when World War III comes. Just
It's urban. It's an urban
urban
ghillie.
ghillie suit. Yeah, just look like a pile of trash.
Pile of garbage. Maybe throw a pile of dog poop in there.
You got to make it stink real bad so people don't come up to you.
Actually, at this point, wouldn't even be dog poop. You just have to take a dump on it yourself. Then people would believe it. Oh, there's a pile of human feces there. Yep, that's for real.
I did see Earl in here earlier. Turkey, the country, they mobbed Israel consulate. Oh, really?
Wow. Yeah, because I know good old Benghazi. They were back at it in Benghazi. I didn't know we had reestablished our embassy in Benghazi, but evidently they're running around pissed off at the Americans there. Everybody's pissed off at us right now. like we did anything. We didn't. Fucking rockets launch out of Gaza into Israel, and everybody's like, fucking Americans. What?
It's a Tony Stark. It's a Tony Stark kind of thing. We invented the rockets. I don't know.
Well, the great one yesterday, the mainstream media went fucking batshit crazy over the Israel bombed a fucking hospital, and then it turned out that they have video footage of it that it's a rocket that was launched out of Gaza, and it went bad, and it blew up one of their own hospitals. Good job, guys. I don't know, maybe buying that old Russian surplus shit isn't quite working out for you. You guys might need to step it up, start buying shit from the Chinese. Chinese will sell you some really good, shitty military stuff. Really good, shitty stuff.
Y'all got some superstars in the chat today. I haven't seen Mr. Entertainment yet, but you're right.
It's good to see. It's good to see everybody. I know that it actually blew up the parking lot. Yeah, it didn't even blow up the actual hospital itself. It just blew up their parking lot. I said it last week.
We were going to redo that parking lot anyways. So
I said it last week. I'll say it again. It's troubling to watch all of these people like jumping up and down and pro-Palestinian and whatnot. Like, look at all the atrocities that Israel is doing. Okay, so I'm walking down the street and I see Justin, and I run up to Justin. I just punch him in the face, and Justin responds by pulling out a gun and shooting me in the face. And I turn around and go, "What's with the hostilities, man?
Why so hostile, dude?
Well, what's going on with you, man? Why would you do that? Like, fucker, you just punched me in the face."
And it turns into Bumblebee. I like that.
Trying to tank me. It blows my mind that
that's right. I want everybody to take a moment and thank NorCal for being here.
Thank you, NorCal, for being here.
Fucking thanks, buddy.
Thank you for coming to the live stream today.
God.
Oh, but what an absolute shit show. Then
sure you're not French Canadian, NorCal? Super.
I will come to you with my souffle.
I'll tell you what it's
about. I can't. It's just like when I was growing up. Everybody's shooting shit at Israel, and the Middle East is it's just waiting to blow up again. But the fact of the matter is, these people have been fighting for literally thousands of years. Thousands. I mean, at any point in history, there's always been somebody fighting over Jerusalem. It's the Holy Land. We get it. But there have been several points of history when there hasn't been fighting there for short periods of time, and it's always because somebody goes in there and basically just plants their flag there and is like, anybody wants it, you can come and try to take it. which is kind of what, Israel didn't like march in there and take it. The UN literally gave them their own sovereign nation. Unfortunately, there were people that had been living there that were kind of pissed off about that. But I'd say the spoils of war, Palestinians.
Well, yeah,
you picked the wrong side. If you chose the right side, maybe they would have split it in half and given half to you and half to the Israelis.
Well, people talking about atrocities and bullshit. I just feel like, well, what the fuck did you? Like, we've lived so long. That's it. Is honestly, like, my generation. I think your generation. We've lived in a generation where there's been absolutely no war for how long? I mean, no real war. I mean, you could say, oh, the Afghanistan war, but I mean, come on, man.
The last, I would say, the last real war that happened was probably, I think Korea was after Vietnam, or was it before Vietnam? I always get it mixed up.
Well, and wasn't Vietnam a military police action?
And yeah, it wasn't necessarily. I mean, it was a war.
It was a war. I mean, it was war. If you were on the ground, it was war.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, NorCal. If there's peace in Jerusalem, then it's all over. We're all checking out to the big RC track in the sky.
At least that's the way the book's written. Yeah.
And maybe human beings have run their course. Maybe we've done everything good that we could possibly do, because some of the shit people are saying nowadays,
I just don't, like you said, atrocity. We've had atrocities forever. We've had atrocities. I mean, even before the Roman Empire, for that matter. I'd like to take these Karens and Jareds back, tens of thousands of years to a fucking war and be like, all right, well, what do you think now?
I mean,
oh my God, it was brutal. Those people were cutting each other apart.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at what war was before there were guns. I mean, war is something that isn't new. We didn't in the 20th century, we didn't invent war. It's been going on for a long time. And yeah, literally, you go back to the Dark Ages, the Crusades, and man, them people ran around in suits of metal with metal shields and giant metal swords, and they generally wouldn't kill you. Like in the movies, they're always like, and you're dead. No, man, they would hack at you with that thing, and then you wouldn't be able to move. You'd just be incapacitated, laying there dying. And after all the fighting was done, they would have all these people that come out with like little wheelbarrows and shit, and they would try to find the people that were savable, and they would load them in the wheelbarrows and take them in and put leeches on them and shit. Like, hey, man, if you make it, great. If not, it's going to suck to be you. You're going to die of gangrene, sepsis, Maybe if you're lucky, you'll just, bleed out.
But I'll get the preacher man to come over and pray you some prayers there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we didn't invent war. We've invented new ways of doing war with definitely technology.
Like I said, it's one of those things. It's where people go, "Oh, this is so horrible. This is so horrible." Oh, we've been doing this for thousands of years. You know that, right? And actually, the way we're doing it now ain't even that bad. Like,
and the pro-Palestinian argument is that we were there first, and actually, you're right. It was called Palestine before it was called Israel. But when it was called Palestine, it was actually an English colony. And the English got that particular chunk of land from the Ottoman Empire, which was Turkey. And basically the Ottoman Empire took it over from the Byzantines. So the argument that we were there first, now, actually, if you can go way back, and the Egyptians were there, and actually the Hebrews were there right after the Egyptians. So technically, the Jews have been there almost longer than anybody.
Sounds like the police. Full metal jackets and tasers.
Yeah. But yeah, all I can say at this point is I realize that Jerusalem is the Holy Land, and it's the religious significance of it is so important. But I think that the problem with Israeli Jews is that they didn't have a home. That was why the UN decided that they were going to give them a home, their own sovereign nation, and they have defended it mightily because pretty much everybody that lives around there freaking hates them. But I think at this point, look, guys, it's been like 70 years where just Muslims are mercilessly murdering you left and right. Now they just resorted to launching rockets into your city, unannounced, whenever the fuck they feel like it. Let's just say, guys, we're going to take the entire country of Israel and we're going to take all you people and we're going to move you to like Iowa, North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, Kansas, Oklahoma. We got a whole bunch of shitty flat land there.
I've got it perfect. There's a whole chunk of California in about the center that nobody's living.
Yeah, I mean, you can have California, the whole thing, because you would do a better job of governing California than anybody else that is currently there.
Look, we'll give you beachfront property. That's how.
I mean, look, you guys will be able to live in peace. You can just live in peace. Nobody here is going to hate you and launch rockets at you or anything like that. You can just literally move here, live in peace. We can, we have the greatest economy in the world. We can definitely carve out a chunk and go, hey, this is kind of new Israel. I know it's not the Holy Land. I know that it's a terrible thing to have to give that up and walk away from it. But
well, hey, the UN fucked that up, but the United States could make it right.
Yeah, well, I mean, the United States, we can just go in there and bomb the shit out of everything, and make everybody fucking miserable.
Well, that's what I was like. You remember Aliens? I was thinking, it's just a matter of flying out to orbit and bombing it from space.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you kind of have to like, all right, guys, we tried. This is a hotbed of.
How about we irradiate the Holy Land for the next 600 years?
Yeah, I mean, is that what anybody wants at this point? Or could we just say, hey, look.
No, I'm just that asshole.
We move everybody out of Israel, and we basically turn that is Middle East Disneyland. All right? It belongs to everybody. And whichever one of you fucks with it, you get the shit bombed out of you. So if it's Jordan, if it's Egypt, if Saudi Arabia, it's whoever, Iran, whoever. If somebody goes in there, we find out that it was your fault that this happened, we get to bomb the shit out of your country.
Just wipe you off the face.
Because you're ruining it for everybody. And then, yeah, look, everybody can go there. Everybody can have a good time. Everybody can worship in peace. And it does
true, because if you've ever had children and they act out and you turn around and you smack the first one, the other two typically fall in line.
Yep. I mean, one of the reasons why the invasion of Iraq was so effective was
Bitter Bob.
We actually did that in the Middle East. We took one of their not superpowers, but we took one of their reasonably tough militaries over there, and we just bitch slapped them. This is what will happen to all of you if you don't straighten up. And look what happened. Shit straightened up for a while. And then a former president went into the White House and basically didn't do what was necessary to maintain. Unfortunately, when you invade a country, you're going to have to stay there for probably a generation, maybe two. And the first thing the Democrats want to do is, we got to get out. These people can govern themselves. No, they can't. No, they can't. We've proven that, because ISIS was literally born in Iraq after we left.
I like
Al-Qaeda and the Taliban are in control of Afghanistan now because we just sort of packed up and left. We left $6 billion worth of military equipment for there. Black Hawk helicopters, tanks, thousands of guns, millions of rounds of ammo. We just left. We left canines there. Literally just abandon our dogs there.
Where's that $2 trillion? You see that laying anywhere? Was that sitting out?
Back then, $2 trillion was a big deal. But let's not forget, last winter, or the winter of 2022, 2021, our Congress spent $1.8 trillion on a whim. On a whim, $2 trillion. Back when we lost $2 trillion at the Pentagon, we were about $6 trillion in total debt. We're over $30 trillion in debt now. $2 trillion now is nothing.
It's nothing.
Joe Biden,
that's tough change.
Joe Biden could use that much up just buying fucking diapers at this point.
That'd give me a wall of RCs in an IKEA setup with the lights and everything.
$2 trillion. I'd buy Horizon. I would buy Horizon, and then I would sell everything off.
Biden went to could you imagine how many people
NorCal, don't even joke about that. Minus 500 points for joking that lunatic woman could become president.
And then I missed this. I meant to be watching this. They don't want you saying that either about Biden.
Oh yeah,
you gotta pray for him. Yeah, they don't want you talking about.
You don't pray for Joe Biden.
Don't pray for Joe Biden.
Devil. Mama said Joe Biden is the devil.
I keep meaning to watch the chat, but I got stuck in the comments on StreamYard.
You know, the funny thing, Cape Cod, is if we stopped funneling money over, literally 3 weeks ago, Joe Biden gave Iran $6 billion. And coincidentally, Hamas starts launching rockets into Israel. Yeah. It's not because we gave them $6 billion. It's not that time and time again we've proven that Iran supports Hamas and Hezbollah and several other terrorist organizations.
Okay. Oop. I can't believe I've been missing these. There's comments in here that are in YouTube that aren't in StreamYard, that are in StreamYard, that aren't in. I can't believe this shit. All right, I'll be paying better attention now.
Fresno to Bakersfield, the armpit. Hey, actually, that would be a perfect place to put Israel, in between, like, just on the other side of the Grapevine, which is just shy of Bakersfield, but just on the other side of the Grapevine, all the way up to like Modesto.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's like a large swath of California in the middle where there's nothing. There's nobody.
When you drive up the 5 freeway and you get just, let's say you get just past Bakersfield, we'll call it Oildale. From there until Modesto, it reeks. It stinks. I mean, like one of the worst smells ever I've ever smelled. And it's all the dairy farms. It's massive amounts of cow shit going on there. But okay, we moved the dairy farm somewhere else. And yeah, but that would be the perfect place. Because look, the Middle East isn't exactly like a tropical paradise. It's hot as fuck over there. So if you move them over to a place where like the max heat that it gets in the summer is like 110, maybe 112, those people be in party town. Like, dude, it gets 120 degrees daily here. Oh, it's hot as shit here.
Salton Sea. Huh. Yes.
Well, yeah, what is it? It's southern down by San Diego. Is that the Great Salt Lake? That is Salton, the Salton Sea. Maybe it is the Salton Sea that's down by San
The
Diego.
new Dead Sea.
It's terrible. Like they accidentally created this by diverting all of this water to make the fields, and they made this big giant lake that with the salinity level was insane. But like back in the 50s and 60s, it was like total resort party town. And then with all of the droughts and everything, the lake started drying up. And because of the salinity level getting so high at that point, everything died. And
Nice.
now it just smells like death there.
Awesome.
It's a whole, like 30 square mile area that just smells like that. And there's people that still live there.
Death and salt, I imagine.
Oh God. Like,
Salty death.
Salton Sea. Yeah, it is bad. The last I want to say 2 years before we moved out of California, we drove through there in kind of a roundabout tour way when we were going to San Diego. We managed because I wanted to show my wife the Salton Sea. And when we got within several miles of it, you're like, what is that smell? And like it just kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger until we got there and we're like, oh my God, it's this whole place smells like that. And then you see there's people who still have like houses there and front yards, and like how do you live with this? I'm sorry. How do you live with that smell? I know you can become nose deaf to a lot of things.
Yeah, you live there long enough, or you're born with it,
right.
or something. I don't know. Or you're NorCal.
Like,
I mean,
it was so strong. It like burning the nose hairs out of your nose. Strong. Like I probably could have shit my pants and wiped my hand with it and stuck that under my nose and been like, oh yeah, that's the way better. The smell of shit is better than this. Oh yeah.
it's not a tourist attraction.
Everybody's probably smelt something dead before. It's a very distinctive smell. A living creature that has died and it is rotted. I'm sure, a dead animal, whatnot, something. It's that lake smells like that times a million. We vacationed there when I was a kid. Why, I don't know. Who would ever go there for fun? It was like a big vacation spot. And yeah. It's not a tourist attraction like Lake Elsinore. I didn't know Lake Elsinore was a tourist attraction. I never liked Lake Elsinore. I don't know why. Like Lake Elsinore and Paris and all of that whole area, like not my cup of tea. I'll take living in the hills of Tennessee over that any day.
I look so good in StreamYard. I don't look good on YouTube.
If I look worse than this on YouTube, then I'm in trouble.
My resolution's a little lower on YouTube. Yeah.
I don't even know how we got. I don't even know how. That's how this show goes.
It just goes off on a sidetrack. Yeah, I was just, I was thinking we're into the first hour of the show, and it's
and we started off talking about RCs.
We did.
We were talking about RCs, and now all of a sudden
I was going to mention to you because I know that the title and I know the theme of the show is conspiracies. So, did you know that recently that Bigfoot was sighted here in Colorado? Did you hear about that?
I watched the footage.
Did you watch you saw it was from a train, right?
Yeah, they're on it. It's a husband and wife on a train.
On a train.
And they see this thing walking. Now, my first impression was that it was a hipster wearing sunglasses and a hat. Like when I first looked at it, I was like, it's just a dude it's like a hairy dude wearing sunglasses. And then, I got into some of the YouTube videos where people are like super zooming into it. So there's only like 4 pixels on the screen and they're analyzing and overanalyzing. It's like, first of all, man and woman on the train who are filming this, modern day cell phones, it's so easy. You just do the whoop, whoop.
I think he was zoomed. I think he was zoomed in. I think he was zoomed in from where he was.
Okay.
Because I know where that train is. I know where that train runs here in Colorado, and I got a feeling that he was already zoomed in.
Okay, then he had an iPhone. He probably had an iPhone because I know, like, I have the Samsung.
And so my thought is, this looks like a guy in a suit. This looks like a guy in a Bigfoot's. But I'm thinking, if this is a hoax, it's obviously it's a very elaborate hoax to try to pull off as you're moving from a train. Well, did you also know that when the guy squatted, he looked just like the rest of the background?
Yeah.
Like he really does. He just blends right in.
But now my question is, if it's a hoax, if you went out and got you a Bigfoot suit and you're just out there walking around hoping that some random person.
Well, the train, if you live near there, the train goes through.
You know what time
so then you could mess with people. I understand that theory because we used to do that up in the hills where I lived. But that's a different story.
That sounded very like Appalachian. Up in the hills where we lived. My cousin married my other cousin.
The Black Hills of South Dakota is not very Appalachian, but there is a train that runs through Hill City, Custer, in that area, called the 1880 train. And I had friends that had pieces of property up near the train tracks in certain areas.
I can imagine the fun that you could have messing with passengers on trains going by.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, I can't, I have a hard time with the, look, why, okay, if you have an Apple, I can understand. You can only zoom in so far with the Apple. The Samsung phones, you can zoom in a ridiculous amount, and it's still reasonably clear. I mean, Flatlanders will never understand.
That's right. Either that or he had zoomed in to where he thought he could see it and got distracted by watching.
He thought it was close enough and clear enough that he could definitively say, look at what I got.
So now this is what I know about that. I believe that is a raised section of track where they're at.
It seemed like that it was like way up off the ground.
Yeah.
Like they're filming looking kind of down.
And I'm thinking that I don't really give a fuck at this point because a Bigfoot is $1 million or something like that. If I capture a Bigfoot, I'll be the only one, some bitch. So I'll be jumping off that fucking train and running toward that motherfucker.
Yeah,
I hope he can defend himself because here I come.
the Jack Links commercials with Bigfoot. All of it's so sad what has happened to the world today. There's such a lack of creativity out there. The Jack Links commercials were hilarious, messing with Sasquatch. But yeah, I mean,
I'm on a raised section.
Is that the same? I saw Bigfoot and he was pissed about his Horizon order. Everybody's pissed about their Horizon orders.
Oh, when he was talking about the Heinz plant too, I don't know if you knew this, but Heinz was one of the very first people to install electricity in his production plants.
Really?
Yeah. Everybody else thought he was crazy. They're like, "Oh my God, you're going to burn the place down with this shit."
Yeah, it's that is interesting. It was Harry from Harry and the Hendersons. I I would I would bet that it's either someone pranking everybody, dress himself up in a Bigfoot suit, or it's just a guy that was out hiking and it was so far away.
That's like I said.
It looked like a hairy guy.
So either the people on the train were in on this and they knew about it and it was a planned situation, which I doubt because of the area and location that I know that's in. That's really rough terrain. I don't think anybody would be out. I think what it is somebody was out there and they knew the train would be out there and they did it to have fun with the people on the train.
Yeah. Watch, man, in a couple of weeks there's going to be some asshole with Bigfoot footage. But it'll actually be me. It's kind of like the original Bigfoot photograph where the guy's granddaughter said that his entire life her grandfather joked about how he took that picture of his buddy wearing this funny hairy suit. And yet people still like, oh, that's the best picture of Bigfoot ever.
Oh, yeah. See, that's the problem is I'd jump off the train right there and I'd probably hit the ground and break my leg and my arm, my collarbone, and or just like kind of lay on the ground and bleed, maybe whimper and be like, hey, Bigfoot, come over here and save me ass now.
And if it was a real Bigfoot, he would just come over there and stomp on your chest a bunch of times.
Kick me. Yeah.
Stupid white people.
Yeah, no, for about a good 10 minutes, I'd have it in me. And then I'd be on the floor. I get about to the end of the train where I felt like jumping and then be like, as a dumb idea.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Bigfoot or not, it's not worth. Hey, I'm gonna break both my legs right now. Bigfoot. Probably the best conspiracy theory of all time. Bigfoot. I mean,
Sasquatch, the Yeti, anything like that. I mean,
JFK's got to be pretty close second.
You got to wonder when different cultures and different people have the same kind of story patterns. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
similar descriptions of a bipedal giant ape-like man from different period, not even just
in different places too.
From different places where literally those people would never know what somebody in Washington State described Bigfoot as. Somebody who lives in Nepal that's never seen a television.
Hey, Bigfoot, I want my $2. Really legendary of you, Bigfoot.
Oh man, yeah. I can't even put JFK. I got to put JFK down the list because I forgot about Roswell. Yeah, Loch Ness, Nessie.
Roswell. Okay, so Roswell, in my opinion, Roswell really happened. There was an alien crash. We did pick up bullshit, and we tucked it all away and said, yeah, a weather balloon crashed.
I have made the assertion, Mr. Brown, that Bigfoot and Loch Ness are actually blurry. They're just they're
oh yeah, we
interdimensional beings that
they live in the 8-bit realm. Yeah.
They come from the 8-bit realm, so they're just pixely and
every time you see them, they're in this pixelated.
And I second that, NorCal. Another 1,000 points to Mr. Brown. Because modern technology have tried so many times to try to find Nessie. They've tried to find Bigfoot. They've tried to find. They've used technology. They knew that, and they haven't been able to find it. Yet Bob and Mary riding on the train through Colorado are like, holy shit, babe, look, It's a freaking Bigfoot. Oh my gosh. I gotta film this with my camera phone.
Well, and that's the thing nowadays is everybody. Oh, you were going to talk about this. We were going to talk, and I'm going to touch on this right now. Everybody has a camera phone.
Yes.
Everybody has access. It's in their pocket right now. You can take out your phone and you can snap at least a photo or a picture. Yeah.
Actually, except for me, because I broke my phone on Friday and I'm still waiting for it to be fixed. And it's scary how much we rely on our phones. Scary. Well, scary how much I rely on my phone.
Said,
yeah.
Bigfoot lives in the 8-bit realm, and that's why it's always
pixelated. Why we can never get a clear picture of it. And like Roswell, I think I'm kind of along there with you that something definitely happened in Roswell. They went to great lengths to clean all of that up, and it if it looks like a snake, slithers like a snake, smells like a snake, it's a freaking snake. And the people that showed up that night that weren't part of the military, the first ones that were out there, they swore to their dying days that they saw little alien bodies laying all over the ground at this crash site. There's something to that. Not mass. I know they have mass hallucinations. I know the CIA did experiments in the 60s with LSD and all of that. But this is 1943 or something. They didn't have mass hallucination technology back then. They just had, sheriff who went out there like, holy shit, there's a crash. And he went out there and he's like, oh, what the hell is that, dude? And then a bunch of military guys come out there.
You didn't see shit.
Yeah, you didn't see nothing. It was a freaking weather balloon, dude. There were dummies. We put alien-shaped dummies in there because we were testing what would happen.
And we're the government, so unless you want to pay millions of dollars in taxes for the rest of your life, you'll shut up right now.
Which was, I don't know, which was the space movie with Bruce Willis, where they went up to shoot the asteroid out of the...
Oh, Armageddon.
Yeah. That was my favorite part about that movie, when he was standing there and they were like, yeah, the
super realistic physics in that movie. I'm going to mention.
None of the guys don't want to pay taxes ever again. And they're like, done. Like, man, it's that easy. All I got to do is hop in a space shuttle and shoot some BBs at a freaking asteroid out there.
Shoot some BBs.
Shit. All right. I'm game. Yeah. Hollywood got so many things wrong. Yeah, we're going to put a nuke down into the ground and just blow it up. Yeah, instead of one giant asteroid hitting the planet Earth, we'll have millions of asteroids that hit the Earth. Maybe half the population would survive if a giant asteroid hit. But nobody will survive now that millions of asteroids are going to kill everyone on the planet everywhere. Good job. I mean, Earl, you're actually right. They down in Mexico just a couple of weeks ago. They were down in
what was that?
Parliament, parading out a couple alien bodies there.
Fake, and all gay. Oh, I love
propaganda. 1,000 points to propaganda for saying gay, because that is something that needs to come back, along with retarded. First of all, mentally challenged people, don't be offended at retarded.
Look, retarded, you can't. This is how I feel. I'm offended. I'm offended because you can't hold that word singularly. I'm retarded all the time.
Yeah, and that's there's certain things that it also has to be context. See, like propaganda, fake, and gay. He's not saying like it's gay. He's saying like, dude, that's fucking gay. Like, that's retarded. That's the most retarded thing I've ever seen. Now, if I were to see some, cerebral palsy guy and be like, that's retarded, that would be offensive. We didn't call actual retards retarded.
Yeah, that'd be rude. See, he knows.
Yeah. But like I can call other people retarded, just like you can call people gay. 1,000 points to Mr. Brown again. He's on fire tonight. I don't know what Vaginga is, but I'm hoping it's just a mistext vagina asteroid, because that's worth another 1,000 points.
Retarded, yeah.
Yeah. I am Sofa King. Weetah did. I remember getting grounded for like a week for doing that to my mom. Just read it really fast, Mom.
Yeah.
Parents don't understand.
That was a brilliant idea, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a really good idea. Really good, smart thing to do. Because in my house, we weren't allowed to cuss. There was no cussing at my house. It's probably why I grew up.
Sofa King RC.
Oh, man, NorCal. That's brilliant right there. That's a YouTube hack right there. What's the name of your channel? Sofa King RC. Wait, so you would also have to get that as a license plate. I'm a Sofa King.
Too funny. This is when the shit comes out. We're here. I'll be right back. You can't leave.
This is when this show goes off on tangents. This show pretty much is just one
Big
continuous tangent into things. You know what? Which brings me to actually something that I wrote down, which is because I've been laughing about this, is and I don't know if anybody's used this or not, outrage culture. I think that we have now, in the world, we now have outrage culture.
What is outrage culture? Explain this to me, because I'm stupid.
So people are now outraged about other people's outrage. So these people over here are pissed off about something. These people over here are pissed off that these people are pissed off about that thing. So now these people are outraged, but these people are outraged at their outrage. Hence, outrage culture.
We've had outrage culture for a bit.
A while. It's been going on for a while. I
understand. I guess so, but basically, I'm getting pissed off because people are pissed off.
Yes, you're pissed off at somebody because they're pissed off at something. Now, let's say we're all big Horizon fans here, and somebody comes in and is like, "Man, screw Horizon, they suck balls," and we're like, "Oh yeah, well screw you, you suck balls." Now we're outraged at that person. Now that person fires back saying, "No, you suck balls worse because you like Horizon, gay ball suckers." And then we're like, "Oh, that's outrageous. You can't say that." And they're like, "Oh yeah, well it's outrageous that you're saying that that's outrageous because it's a free country and I could say whatever I want." Now, outrage culture. Everybody is just pissed off because everybody is pissed off.
Oh my God. Now to the commercial break. Weed Whacker 9000 bush mower for all your hairy needs.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because everybody knows I pay attention to politics and I watch pundit videos and all of that, and it is hilarious to me that there are people making videos talking about how they're angry that these people are so angry. I can't believe.
All I can, and I know my dad. All I can think of is my dad right now, and I know dad's in the chat, but all I can is like me and my sister like fighting or something. Like I'm mad that she's mad, and you know what he'd do? He'd come over and slap us both.
And now he's mad.
And now he's
that's like homegrown outrage culture there in your house.
Wow, I never thought of it that way.
I'm so happy. Yeah, I can't believe. Well, you know what? Obviously, colleges and universities are now being shown. Oh no, NorCal are. Did he literally just change his name during the show? That's impressive, NorCal. That is impressive right there. 10,000 points to NorCal for throwing that down.
NorCal RC, Sofa King RC.
Now I'm expecting some Sofa King infomercials.
I want some Sofa King merchandise.
Sofa King merchandise. Oh man, NorCal, this might be your billion dollar deal here. I mean, this might be it. There's the guy with the big yellow smiley face. Yeah, NorCal for the win. The colleges have been showing how literally the education system in this country is just absolutely taking a shit, and no better example would be the Harvard students who are like pro-Palestinian and blah blah blah, pro-Hamas and whatnot, only to have like one of Harvard's largest donors like, oh, that's how you feel? Hey, guess what? I'm Jewish. F you guys. No more money for you. Not to mention all of these kids that did this, they like posted this shit all over social media. The internet's forever. It's forever. Everything you do on the internet will be in the internet forever. Someday you're going to have to apply for a job. And God help you if you're applying for a company that's owned by, I don't know, somebody's family who has family from Israel. Yeah, they're going to look at, oh, hey, did you post that? Like, we're really glad that these babies were being murdered and you did that. Yeah, I'm going to make sure that everybody I know that owns companies never hires you ever. Have fun working at Subway.
My hobby shop is proof it's going downhill. Kid checking me out had mask on and couldn't figure out how to cash me out. Dude, when working there, took him 5 minutes just to pay.
He had a mask on.
Really. I want to mention in NorCal, if you're gonna anything you're gonna do, what you need is a sofa RC. You need to turn a couch into an RC car, dude. I don't know how you do it. Get a go-kart, make it an RC, put a couch on top of it, but
even a scale one.
Yeah, even a scale.
Get you a Barbie couch
and stick it on top of a FMS or something and make it happen. But
a wee Todd Ed president.
Is it Sofa King RC and Wee Todd Ed Productions?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll say my piece about the whole pandemic thing. That I think it's pretty clear at this point that a lot of that was grossly exaggerated. I think it's been proven enough.
No shit. I'm in agreement with that.
The numbers were exaggerated. The impact.
Well, I think we all knew that the fucking mask was a placebo and everything.
Yeah. Hundreds of doctors, hundreds of hospitals, hundreds of experts have all come out and said, yeah, the freaking mask was useless. At some point, I believe that somebody walking through the halls of some government building was like, let's see if we can get everybody to wear a mask. I'll bet you $5 we can get everybody to wear a mask. And
yeah, if we mandate it so you can't go into buildings or anything. It was so I was counting inventory at like City Market or your local supermarket. I went in and I counted some inventory there, and I do it for a third-party company and get paid. Well, I walked into this place one time that's like in Vail or something like that, up in the mountains, this really rich town. Nice marketplace that I walked into. And the manager immediately came over to me and said, "You have to leave if you don't have your mask on." And I was about ready to be like, you know what?
What I mean, there was definitely people who were at higher risk. Obviously, millions of people died.
Right.
And like a majority of those people all had basically the same problem. They had respiratory problems. They were asthmatic or they were chronic bronchitis or something. Those people were at risk. Those people needed to take extra special precaution. But why the fuck could I not go into a Chevron and get a cup of coffee without wearing a mask? And at one point, you couldn't pour your own coffee. I had to tell the people what I wanted. The gas station, not like just shitty enough working at a gas station, but now I'm making everybody freaking coffee for them.
It's where you wear. It's when you wear your underwear as your mask. That's when people get a little upset, especially if there's a stain there or something.
You got a little mohawk skid mark.
You know what I'm talking about? They don't like that.
Well, the best part was the people who were in charge. Gavin Newsom was the perfect example of they didn't believe it themselves. The motherfucker was out having dinner with like 20 people at a super fancy restaurant. Ain't none of them were wearing masks. They didn't have the doors open. They didn't do anything special. They were like, we're going to go eat at our favorite restaurant here because everybody else has got to stay home. Suckers.
I don't know if we said hi to Jesse when he came in. Everybody was saying hi to Jesse. He was talking about welding up the couch. Welding up the couch, RC. I'm saying, like, if I could ride around, I'd just like lay down on the couch and like go down the street, you know, with the controller in my hand.
Propaganda, man. The Chevron that I went to on my way to work every morning was like one of them super gas stations. They had like Primo coffee in there. And gross who gets coffee at Chevron. It was damn good coffee. And I tell you what, it was better than the coffee we got at work.
The comment that NorCal dropped that the YouTube does not want to talk about.
The fugly I had to see. That.
Apparently, YouTube has a soft spot for fugly people.
It's me. You might offend the fugly people. I agree. I agree, NorCal. It did actually help. There are some people that it's good for you to wear a mask. It's good. But the sad part is 2 years later, 3 years later, it's 2023. I saw somebody wearing a mask like 2 weeks ago.
Man, I feel like if you're a first responder or if you're a doctor in a hospital during surgery or something like, yeah, absolutely. You should be wearing the appropriate mask and a mask.
Yeah.
Because they also said, I mean, they basically came out and said, unless you're wearing this certain mask, it's not going to really matter. And and then people came out with like crochet masks and
Alyssa Milano, that fucking brainiac, who lives in Montecito, California, in a gated mansion with armed security guards, who screamed up and down about defunding the police. And then the day that somebody broke into her yard, she called the police and then was pissed off because the police just sort of meandered the way over there. Like, oh, did you have a problem here? Sorry, we didn't have enough money for gas to get over here. Miss super wealthy actress woman who's smarter than the rest of the world. But yeah, she had a crocheted mask on. I can't believe anybody still wears a mask at this point.
You can't say that Masons are acceptable for doctors and criminals. I'm guessing that's masks are acceptable for doctors and criminals.
Yeah, because you know them Freemasons.
You know the
And-
Freemasons. I was like,
You gotta
Masons.
be careful.
I
You
missed
gotta
it.
be
I was
careful
like,
about
are
the
we putting up a
Freemasons.
wall? Is that?
Hey
And
man,
then Jesse
don't-
just paid for his stuff and left. Yeah, and that's the thing, man. I don't like.
don't mess with the Freemasons.
Isn't it my choice whether or not I want to wear a mask? Isn't that?
No,
I don't know.
it wasn't.
No,
I
and see, that's the thing. Like, no,
I
you didn't
distinctly
have public.
remember it not being a choice.
It
You
wasn't
have to wear a
public.
mask,
You have to wear
or
it.
you have to lock yourself in your freaking house, peasants. By the way, I'm going to go out to dinner with 20 of my friends. We're not going to wear masks. But hey, if you guys, Governor douchebag. I hope it's true that he announced he's going to run for president in 2020.
Who are you calling a criminal? Just hit me.
Masks are for doctors and criminals. I mean, yeah. I mean, criminals, come on, the traditional old school freaking ski mask.
I believe the term is vigilante. Thank you.
Speaking of vigilantes, I just saw a clip that Saturday Night Live did. I guess when Christian Bale was on Saturday Night Live, they did a Batman in a lineup skit.
This guy.
It's funny as shit because they got people up there like, okay, say the phrase, I'm Batman. And then they get to Christian Bale, who's in the full Batman outfit. And he's like, what, you really want me to say it? You really want me to say it? And then he says it in like this high squeaky voice. And they're like, no. And they go through this whole thing where he just keeps saying it in different voices. And then they finally get to the part where they're like, okay, so who are you? I'm the defender of Gotham. And what do? I punish criminals for their crimes. And what's your name again? I'm Batman. Done.
Nice.
Occasionally, Saturday Night Live could be funny. It hasn't been funny in a long time. I know that was an old clip, but
I'm the world's greatest detective.
Yeah. You should wear a mask, JB. First comment earlier. Yeah. Sophie King. Yeah. Zingers in there tonight. Wearing a mask in a bank used to be illegal. They would shoot you in a bank if you walked in with a mask on.
Either that or hit the silent alarm. Next thing you know, the police are showing up.
That's right, propaganda. The term is peaceful protesters. Carrying out mostly peaceful protests while the gas station is on fire behind them. Oh, it's just a small fire. Small. Freaking mushroom cloud.
Somehow I lost $2 trillion this morning.
Oh yeah, and speaking of the media, how about the media stepping on their dicks with the whole hospital bombing thing? Because everybody blamed it on Israel until Israel's like, hey, we got this videotape that shows where that rocket came from. Shut up, you bastards. Jake Tapper, who's interviewing the woman who's in Israel, that last week when the bombs were going off, they showed her laying on the ground, like hiding from the bombs that were going off, and they got busted because in the background you could see the people like just casually walking by looking at them like, why the fuck is the CNN news crew laying on the ground? Like the same thing that the Weather Channel got busted with the guy standing there bracing them up against the wind and it's blowing so strong and there's people walking behind them like walking their dog. Like, dude, what's wrong with you? Media and they're lying bastards. But Jake Tapper talking to this woman about, she is talking about how, this airstrike, rocket strike from Israel blew up this hospital, blah, 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 like matter of factly. And Jake Tapper's trying to kind of walk it back through the whole time that she's talking, like, well, we have to get confirmation and Washington Post, New York Times, ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, all posting on their website that strike from Israeli military hits hospital in Gaza. And over the course of several hours, how they had to keep editing the headline of it to keep walking it back. But Jake Tapper basically live on air walking it back. Like, well, we can't exactly say that because we don't have confirmed proof. And she's like, we have definitive proof of it. And he's like, well, we can't say that because there isn't. And then it turns out, oh yeah, you were all full of shit.
Maybe because it's all fake and gay. And by the way, YouTube is not going to let you say gay. I can't. I think we went over this.
YouTube won't, but I will. But yeah, maybe the media needs to start practicing actual journalism where you get the facts in and then you report the facts to the people and let the people go, those are interesting facts. I should make a decision on my own.
Coincidentally, is it not one of those things to say it's slightly a conspiracy to say that are they trying to incite something?
I don't know, World War III, maybe, because it's good for ratings. If it bleeds, it leads. That's the motto of news since the beginning of news. And yes, propaganda, it is all fake.
Yeah, the facts of government. I agree. I mean, well, shit. We already know that they're in the news. Already in W3, Jesse Baker. As a welder, I imagine that every day feels like W3 to you. I just
it feels like I mean, it feels like that's where we're headed. I mean, every single day. I mean, they're trying to stir it up so much that Joe Biden brought up that we should celebrate George Floyd's birthday.
Okay.
We should celebrate George Floyd's birthday. We don't celebrate George Washington's birthday. We have President's Day where we kind of lump them all in together, the guys who literally fought to create this country. But no, we should celebrate George Floyd's birthday. The guy who admittedly took a ridiculous amount of fentanyl. Albeit tragic that George Floyd died. Should we be celebrating him as a hero?
If I take a ridiculous amount of fentanyl, will you guys celebrate my birthday?
Let's also not forget the fact that George Floyd was arrested several years prior to that to pointing a gun at a pregnant woman.
Who's got a ridiculous amount of fentanyl I could take? Mr. Entertainment.
Am I talking to myself over here? I don't know. I hope so because nothing is more entertaining than watching Mr. Entertainment talk to himself.
That's why we've lost all our viewers.
Yeah, but I mean, it happens. Hey, you guys are blinded by my stardom.
It's something like that. I mean, Tony CC, but
I am awestruck by the magnificence of Tony Clifton. Speechless.
Tony CC, it floors me that it's like him and his immigrant Pablo over there.
The only way you could have made that better is if you like his gay immigrant Pablo. I feel sorry. I feel sorry for social media influencers. I feel sorry. Everybody remember Dave Chappelle?
Yes.
The Dave Chappelle show?
Oh, yeah. Right.
So you remember how it all came crashing to an end because Dave Chappelle was like the super major pothead and flew off to Africa because he couldn't handle the stardom and all of that? Do you remember that part?
I don't remember that part, but
okay. Well, that was the story.
That sounds like a typical star crash. Okay.
Dave Chappelle ruined his show. So it has now come out that actually wasn't the case. Dave Chappelle's show was wildly successful. Its first season made the Comedy Channel like $500 million. And in Dave's contract for the show, it was that Dave would make 50% of everything the show makes. So obviously season 2 is well underway when Dave finds out that his show made $500 million. And he goes to the network and is like, I get 50%. And they're like, well, actually, there's a clause in your contract that your show made too much money. So we're actually only going to pay you 10%. And Dave's like, really? And they're like, really? And he's like, wait till my fans hear about this. They're not going to stand for this. You're robbing me of $200 million. And the executive at the Comedy Network looked Dave Chappelle in the face and said, your fans will believe whatever we tell them. If we tell them that you're a crackhead and you've lost your mind and you abandon your show, that's what they'll believe. And he was like, whatever. Dave Chappelle lives in Ohio, I believe. Got on a plane that night in Los Angeles and flew to Ohio. That shit hit before he landed in Ohio. That story had already gone viral. That Dave Chappelle basically was like, and abandoned his show. And that wasn't the case. And I did see the Cat Williams short, but it's also now been confirmed by several of people that work at Comedy Central, the network. Which is, yeah. That's great. That's Mr. Entertainment wins your next peep show.
That's disgusting.
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see the Tony Clifton peep show. 100 points of propaganda. Hey, 1,000 points of propaganda. Because that was when I saw that short, it prompted me to go look at, like, really, is this really what happened? They literally screwed Dave out of $200 million. Yep. Not only did they do that, but they screwed Dave out of his own show because they took all of the stuff that he had already filmed for season 2 and then finished season 2 without him being a part of the show, then started season 3, the Dave Chappelle show, that Dave Chappelle wasn't even on any of the episodes in season 3, of which the guy with that shit was funny. And I mean, rumor has it that season 2 and season 3 made twice as much as the first season did. And Dave got dick out of that.
Yeah, there's a game. That Hollywood game is crazy, man. That shit, yeah. When you start getting into that shit, you better have yourself a real lawyer.
Hollywood needs to die. The level of creativity is gone. The talent pool of writers and all that, it's now moved. It's been spread out into other areas where they don't have to deal with the Hollywood bullshit.
Wait, I'll show you yours if you show me mine. Wait, is that?
I'm not sure it quite works that way. I'll show you yours. Yeah, and then they sold all the episodes to Netflix, and made even more money. You know, and it's funny. You know, Bill Cosby. I think Bill Cosby's out of prison now, isn't he? He's not in prison anymore. They let him out.
You know, I don't know.
That whole Me Too movement and that thing, like Harvey Weinstein was like the total fall guy for the entire history of the Hollywood casting couch. Like it boiled down to they made that guy the worst person ever in the history of Hollywood. Like, do you know how like 99% of actors and actresses get their roles? I'm sorry. There's a reason why Scarlett Johansson hasn't won a freaking Oscar. It's why there's a bunch of really pretty actresses who've never won an Oscar. And whether you don't like back to back superhero movies, Hollywood gave Bruce Willis Alzheimer's, and I just saw Demi Moore posted a video of him at home like several days ago, and dude, freaking Bruce Willis is a mess. He's a mess.
Huh.
And it's, I mean, dude, Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, is now, I mean, he's only half there now. Only half there. He's not full Joe Biden, but he's like 1/3 Joe Biden at this point. Yeah, Kardashians turned multi-medal winning triathlete into Woman of the Year.
Oh, yeah. And they don't like, YouTube doesn't like you talking about the Kardashians, apparently. You're not allowed to say that.
I mean, yeah, because you can't bash on the media darlings that are the Kardashians. I mean, nobody in the history of sucking cock has sucked cock to fame and fortune like the Kardashians.
Getting old does suck. I agree.
Tell me I'm wrong. You know what? Propaganda. I'm dealing with aging. I hurt getting out of bed in the morning. Like I get up and I have to like finagle my way out of bed. And we actually have like a super tall bed, so it's easier for me to get in and out of. I wake up.
Will Smith for president.
Will Smith is the biggest pussy in the world. Man, I would be stringing that fucking Jada Pinkett up on everything. And that bitch is running him through the... I mean, literally. Well, I don't know about his sexual... Bitch, you're married to that man. You have kids with him. You should be defending him, not to mention, that's the guy that made all the money. You haven't done shit. Ever.
Right.
Ever. You're not getting paid $20 million to do anything. And you're selling him down the river at this point. Tell all books. Bitch, you got caught cheating on him. Then you went public, basically emasculating him. And now, oh yeah, we basically just, we're basically separated. But I made a promise that there would never be a reason for divorce. Oh, really? You're the reason why that marriage is staying together? You're the reason why that marriage is a big pile of shit.
I didn't know you were pregnant. Probably getting it.
Oh, wait. Did I miss something? Sad to see people get old. Yeah. Child labor. Wait, propaganda, are you saying you were the victim of child labor?
I can't. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out that sentence entirely.
Yeah. No, she actually, Elizabeth Smith is 100%. She is a Looney Tune. She's fucking crazier than a shithouse rat. But you know what? You married her, Will. And guess what? You're both living in California. So you know what's going to happen? She's going to get 75% of everything. And luckily, the kids are adults now, so you won't have to pay child support. But have fun paying that $3 or $4 million a month in alimony.
I'm older than Bruce Willis. Okay. I guess we know who's going to die harder. Jada Pinkett Smith announced recently that they've been separated. I'm sorry.
That is. I'm going to apologize to you, Mr. Brown, for the fruit of your loin.
I couldn't help myself.
That is using your dad in a joke. That's 5,000 points to JB.
Jada Pinkett Smith announced recently that they've been separated since 2016. Coincidentally, it was right after Will Smith told her to make a new G.I. Jane movie. It's the hair. It's the hair.
Oh, but she's got alopecia or propecia or whatever the fuck that is that makes your hair fall out. Bitch, please. She shaved her head because she wants to act like a dude. That's all it is. I wouldn't be surprised if she hadn't already got a surgically implanted dick. Because I'm fairly certain that Will Smith is gay.
I know you haven't written it one yet, but that's funny.
Conspiracy theory?
No, my will just changed. My dad said.
So many babies came out working. Hell yeah. I had my first job when I was 13 years old, and it was changing tires at the racetrack for the guy that was a friend of my mom and dad's who had the business of selling race car tires and race car gas at a bunch of local tracks.
Fun.
So he paid me like freaking $10 a night to spend 5 or 6 hours like changing tires on the fly and getting yelled at by racers who were, you know, my race starts in 30 seconds. I need you to change this tire right now.
Right now.
Fond memories. I do have some fond memories of that. And I'm actually still friends with Bill to this day. Taught me a lot of things. So certain things that a father figure at 13 will teach you when he's not your father, because he knows he doesn't have to deal with the repercussions of the things that he's teaching. He's like kind of like that uncle that lets you drink beer.
Right. Yep. Before Chris Rock got slapped.
Well, I can
Earl
tell you,
was a young landscaper, apparently.
the other conspiracy theory, which I'm sure I'm gonna get hammered on YouTube for this one, is I believe the bounty is up over $1 million at this point for a picture of Michelle Obama pregnant.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know if you've seen a lot of pictures of Michelle Obama in like strapless dresses.
Huh.
And there are pictures at certain angles that really do make it look like there's a going on there. Not to mention, God, what was that crazy woman?
She's a dude.
The entertainment.
Didn't Aerosmith have a song like that?
Dude looks like a lady.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh God, what the hell was her name? But somebody caught her, like she was getting out of her car, and somebody caught her saying, you know, what do you think about, someday getting the first gay president? And she was like, we already got the first gay president. Everybody knows that Michelle's a man and Obama's gay. And like 2 weeks later, that woman died during a relatively routine dental procedure or something. Oh,
Well then.
Earl, that's Michelle Obama is Bigfoot. That's why they can never get a good picture of her. Joan Rivers, Jesse, 5,000 points to Jesse. Joan Rivers, she said it. It was like on Entertainment Tonight or something. And it went all over the place. And then all of a sudden she was like, dead. Because she had like a freaking cat put on her tooth and some mysterious brain-eating amoeba or something freaking killed her.
Her and Epstein.
Hey, thanks for bringing that up, because we're not even counting days now. Now we're counting years. It's been several years since both Ghislaine Maxwell and her boyfriend, Jeffrey Epstein, were both convicted and imprisoned for sex trafficking of children, and not a single one of their customers has ever even been named. The list and whatnot is still in possession of the United States federal government, who, obviously can't release it because because Obama, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, freaking Tom Hanks, Jesus, who else was on the flight log? We're all hanging out on Epstein Island. There's some really powerful people there.
Reminds me of a bunch of.
No wonder nobody wants that list released.
I was gonna say that's what happens when people don't want to show the truth, when they don't want to show the numbers coming in and out.
Well, the problem is that some things get buried and hidden forever. Like, nobody's ever going to know where Jimmy Hoffa was buried. Nobody's ever going to know that. That ship has sailed. A bunch of people have claimed we were there. They knew. No. Like, nobody's ever going to know what actually happened to JFK. Nobody's ever going to know that. They've managed to bury that shit. 9/11, if it was an inside job, ain't nobody ever going to figure that out. That shit's buried. Epstein Island, that shit's going to come out at some point. Somebody somewhere is going to be in trouble. And they're going to be sitting there like, okay, I'm going to get royally fucked by the government right now. Or I can save my ass by releasing this list of people. Hey, everybody! And that's exactly how it's going to happen. And shit's going to fall apart. Lots of shit's going to fall apart because literally the names of the people that were on the flight log were bad enough. But imagine the people that we don't even know about that were involved in that. And they know what was happening on Epstein Island. They know what was happening there. They have pictures and evidence and all kinds of stuff of what they were doing to kids there.
Well, and we've talked about this over like 2,000 kids go missing a day.
A day.
Now, to put that in comparison, I can tell you that over all the Disney resorts, all of them put together, not just, anyways, but out of all of them, over a year, they lose 2,000 kids. Okay. Well, we somehow managed to lose 2,000 every day. Like
every day.
Jesus.
Not to mention, take a look back in just recent history. At any time, there's somebody in the government that's going to get in trouble for something. Go back to JFK. somebody was going to get in trouble for something.
Oh yeah.
It was so bad that JFK literally got a bullet through his head. And it was so bad that that wasn't even enough. They murdered his brother. Richard Nixon literally had to quit as president of the United States. He did something that was so bad, he literally had to quit. First time in history, a president has just been like, all right, I quit.
You're not allowed to talk about the Clintons. YouTube says so.
But work your way all the way up to Bill and Hillary Clinton. Waco? Everybody remember Waco? Everybody remember Ruby Ridge?
Right.
And all of that happened while all the investigation was going on about Whitewater. Whitewater goes back to when Bill Clinton was governor of Arkansas, and there's a whole bunch of shady as hell real estate deals that went wrong, and people started dying, like left and right dying. People that knew shit ended up dying. There is, I think Seth Rich was one of Hillary Clinton's administrative helpers that evidently said something one day that pissed her off so bad. He wound up committing suicide in Central Park by shooting himself in the head without a gun. They never found the gun.
Oh, wow. That's magic.
They found him dead in Central Park, shot in the head, and ruled it a suicide.
Got the finger gun. I didn't know it was loaded.
Propaganda. If you think Waco is crazy, look at what happened at Ruby Ridge. That is less death, but no less sketchy. They killed the guy's son and his dog because the FBI was surveilling him, and his son was out walking their dog and came across a bunch of FBI snipers in ghillie suits spying on them on their property and got into a shootout. Not exactly the smartest thing to do on his son's part, getting into a shootout with a bunch of FBI snipers, but still, they ended up murdering him, his son and his dog. And then there was a standoff of which the FBI murdered his wife, and I believe shot their daughter, who was an infant at the time. But they shot the wife through the daughter, through the door. But at any point during recent history, anytime there's been something big going on that somebody's going to get in trouble, there's always been some big event that happens to try and distract us dummies from paying attention to it. I mean, the start of World War III. What better way to distract America from the fact that Joe Biden was literally taking millions and millions of dollars in bribes through his brother and his son when he was vice president? And when he was in charge of handling the Ukraine thing, he managed to get his son to sit on the board of a Ukrainian gas company. And here we are on the verge of World War III. So you know that whatever's coming is freaking bad.
Right.
It's escalated to the level that it's escalated now. You know that they're in max distraction mode at this point because, yeah.
If you can read the Braille, then you can feel it coming.
I mean, imagine if all of the Epstein stuff becomes public. Imagine if Kevin McCarthy actually followed through with releasing all of the videotape to everybody that they had from January 6th. Imagine, because he said that. He made that deal. It's why he's not Speaker of the House anymore, because he made that deal with politicians saying, yes, I'll release it. He publicly said, I'm going to release all of it. Did he? Nope. Because somebody doesn't want people to see what was going on inside that Capitol building on January 6th. Most likely is because there was a bunch of FBI agents running around in that crowd because they were trying to nail all of them.
Sofa King.
But that's another conspiracy theory show, because I'm sure I'll get busted for talking about January 6th. Oh, by the way, the white supremacists who were marching around in Columbus, Ohio over the weekend, surprisingly in the same exact getup as the guys that keep showing up at Disney World in Florida with their Nazi flags. Khakis, blue polos, white mask, khaki hat with some kind of strange flag on it. Oh, yeah, Ray Epps. Ted Cruz is still asking Christopher Wray about Ray Epps. Hey, what about Ray Epps? How come that guy got a free pass? Because he's literally on video telling everybody in a crowd, you need to go inside that Capitol building tomorrow. And everybody that's standing around him going, no, we don't. That's a terrible idea. That's how you get shot. Ashley Babbitt. But again, we have reached the end of the show. Man.
Oh, I said time already, huh? Damn.
Time flies when you're having fun. And by all means, everybody, this is a ton of fun. It's a ton of fun getting to just sit in here and go off on tangents and talk about random crazy shit. Because when else do you get a chance to talk about random crazy shit?
Right.
That's why it's the shit that needs to be said show, because I am far right. I would be classified under that the most dangerous people in America, that a white nationalist.
Oh, I'm glad that's who I'm hanging out with. I'm far ignorant.
I'm in that category because I'm a white guy. I'm a Christian, and I love America. Yeah, there is. Oh, you can kind of see. I got an American flag over there. There's another one that's over there that's off camera, but yeah. Do you ever get your motorcycle? I did. NorCal, it's right there. I've been having a blast with it. I've not bumped mine up like Earl. I am thoroughly enjoying just running that thing around in the front yard and getting it to do front flips. And
Earl wants to break his.
Earl is going land speed record on that.
Yep. Which
I applaud, but
I hope he's got a second one, because the first one's going to disintegrate in the learning process.
But it is a lot of fun, and I haven't done that many upgrades to it, and I'm actually surprised. It's much like my Baja Ray. Losi builds really tough shit. I mean, the whole thing in the front that everybody kept breaking, I run mine into the tree a bunch of times. I slam it into the curb all the time. I haven't broken it yet, so, and I even have a spare one, and I haven't even had to install it. But street build, that's what I'm looking forward to seeing that, and I'm looking forward when Losi stops dicking around and they come out with a street version of that. I'd like to see him do like a MotoGP bike or something, because that would be really cool. I mean, this thing's fun off-road and everything, but I think ultimately it would have been better if they just made it a street bike, because it works off-road, but it works only in very kind of specific off-road scenarios. You know, like really tall grass is terrible.
Sure. Yeah, I get it.
Every time I let my grass grow too tall and I try to take it out there and run it, I get frustrated and I'm like, I gotta mow my freaking grass if I want to run my bike around.
Right.
But most of the time I end up, I'm on the driveway or in the back on the pavement. It's yeah.
Yes. And yep, it happens.
Sofa King, we do occasionally talk about RCs. I do believe that this should be release of the year, though. It's the best thing that anybody's come out with.
I won't disagree with that.
I think just the time and effort that they put in to make this what it is worth it getting crowned best RC of 2023. because I'm certainly not going to give that to the Red Cat tow truck thing.
Yeah.
Or the RC 4-wheel drive U4 piece of shit. Or anything that FMS has come out with.
I do declare.
The only release here, in my opinion. Yeah.
Or is that more of a, I do declare?
I would like to say something nice about other RCs out there, but they're just, the Gorgon, really? Is it 1995 with a brushless nickel metal hydride battery?
Yeah, but it runs better than every other. It runs better than every other brushed motor they've ever put out so far.
Well, and you guys had to go back to 1995 in order to make an affordable RC for beginners? Please. I can buy batteries from Amazon for $23. I can buy nameless brushless motors on Amazon for like $9. You mean to tell me that you couldn't go buy some of that crap, throw it in your Gorgon, and make it a brushless? Or at least run it on, make it a brush, but at least run it on LiPo. Christ, you're using 30-year-old battery technology in the thing. Of course, it's $169. It's how much it would have cost in 1995 when all that technology was new-ish. Yeah.
Exocage can go stick it right up his shiny.
Exocage is...
He'd say anything if he thought he could sell you his products or whatever.
Yeah. If he thinks it'll get him another 500 views, he'd probably offer to take it up the ass from somebody. Oh, Ben, Exocage.
Whatever. I don't care if he is offended. That guy.
Nowadays, everybody is out to make a quick buck. It's all about the side hustle, and it's all about the life hack and all this other shit. And it's not, man. Just
I ain't worried about the quick buck or the side hustle or anything like that. It's when you tell me that you're doing this because it just makes you look good. No matter how this turns out, good or bad, it makes me look good. And it's like, well, all right then.
Yeah, it makes you look good until you say shit like that.
You can say that,
like a giant douche.
Curing blind children makes you look good, but if you're using bleach to do it, it doesn't really.
If you have a 501c3 anal bead company to help save people, I'm doing it because it makes me look good. Well, the price of doing charity should always be zero. You should just try to do things for the sake of doing something if you're going to help people, do it because you want to help people, not because you're, hey, I'm going to help people and eventually this is going to become a giant organization and I'm going to get a 6-figure salary. What, Wounded Warrior? Did I say that out loud? Oi. Yeah, the president of Wounded Warrior makes a 6-figure salary. Big 6-figure, not like $101,000 a year. It was quite a dust up several years ago about why this proud organization helping our veterans was paying this guy an exorbitant amount of money. Because it's always about the money.
I mean,
it's always.
What about the kickbacks and everything else that you can get? I mean, free rides.
It's always about the money. Nowadays, it's very hard to find anybody that does
just charity. Want to do something good?
Yeah.
It's
hard to find somebody that does charity for the sake of, I want to actually help people. No, it's I want to help people.
I do have a charity. It's called The Shit That Needs to Be Said Show.
In the long run, all that shit's going to circle back around to me. I'll be able to buy a new truck. I'll get free shit all the time. I'll get to travel all over the place. I'm helping. I'm saving lives. Here, right now, I'm helping to save lives.
Flying first class, saving lives.
Make sure, friends and family, when you donate to my PayPal, On that happy note, we have overrun our time slot. But we'll be back next Wednesday, and we will most certainly have more conspiracy stuff to talk about. We'll have more shit to make fun of, and yeah, thank you to everybody who's in here hanging out tonight. Thank you to all the lurkers back there who are hanging out, not saying anything in the background.
Sorry, I'm so bitter.
It's outrage culture.
Or fuck off. I mean, I don't care.
We're outraged that you're outraged. I'm outraged about your outrageous outrage.
Fuck, man, you'd be, whatever. You'd be bitter too if you had to end this awesome show.
Yeah, that's true. Another week, another group of smiles, and now we have to wait a whole nother week before we get to hang out in here and make fun of people and talk shit about anal bead 501c3 companies. But on that happy note, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next Wednesday. Really appreciate hanging out. And yeah, now we got that awkward time.